Hi all, today we'll discuss about a Spring Boot with a Spring Cloud interview question. So there are multiple interview questions which is asked by interviewer. So the first question is how a Spring Boot internally work. What is the process it follow? So suppose if you are creating any Spring Boot applications, how it work? What are the steps to follow and all? And the next question is what is the difference between a Spring MVC and a Spring Boot? So most of the interviewer will ask the difference between a Spring MVC and a Spring Boot. So what is the difference? And others is next question is what is the purpose of microservice? When to use microservice and why we are using a microservice? Then the next question is what is Eureka service? Eureka server. So how it work and how to make Eureka server. So suppose if you are using a Spring Cloud, if you are mentioned in your resume, you are working on this Spring Boot with a Spring Cloud. So then interviewer will maybe ask the Eureka server. So what is Eureka server? Have you used Eureka server? And how you make a configure of Eureka server. And the next question is what is Joule and how it work? What is the benefit of Joule? So this is also related for this Spring Cloud component. And the next question is ribbon. So what is ribbon and what is the benefit of ribbon? So ribbon is mostly used for this load balancing. So that's why we are using, it's a part of a Spring Cloud component. And the next question is how to interact two microservices. If we have a multiple microservices or more than one microservices, how you will be interact? What is the best way to interact? And then the next question is what will happen if we make a control class as a scope type is prototype. So we have a multiple scope is there, singleton, prototype, factory, singleton, prototype, and then we have a session, global sessions and all. So if you will make a scope type is prototype, what will happen? And the next question is if you are using Fin client to interact, communicate between two microservices, how you handle the exception in Fin client, how you write the custom error decoder. So there are multiple way to interact of microservices. We have a Fin client, REST template, or any messaging queue like Kafka, RabbitMQ and all. So what are the best way how you will handle Fin client if you are using Fin client? So this type of questions they ask. And the next question is how to make your configuration centralized. Suppose if you are doing some YAML properties or YAML application.yaml file, so that application.property or application.yaml file. So how you will make this configuration as a centralized, how to encrypt some of your property. So that we can do by using centralized, by using part of a Spring Cloud component features. And the next question is what is the use of actuator? So Spring we have actuators. So what is the use? What all are the endpoint it exposed? And what are the response parameter for endpoint? So we have a multiples are there like /health, /trace and all, so that we can monitor the application. How you make your application high available in case of microservice. So what are the ways and how you will do this implementation? The next question is how you will be doing a log monitoring tools if you are using in productions. So how you find the particular error, if any error or any microservice have some errors, so how you will find the particular error in production. So how you are doing this log monitoring tools. So we have a Splunks and ELK and others are there, through that we can do. So which type of authentication and authorizations you are using for your in application? So mostly is used for the security purpose. So mostly we are using JWT token. So some of that they use Okta token, UA tokens, or JWT and others. So depends on the requirement. We can use for this authentication and other edition. Some of the applications we see in web client also they are used for this internal security or basic security. So how auth2 work? What are the different component of auth2? So auth2 is also part of security. Spring security. If you will work as Spring security, we have auth to JWT and all. And this others question also related for security purpose. How authorization server and resource server? What is the difference between this authorization server and resource server? And then the next is how a Spring transaction work. So what are the isolation and propagation level will be there. So this is related for a Spring transactions. So what are the Spring transactions work and how it will work. We have a multiple microservice implementation. So how it will be work. And the next question, have you used proxy design pattern? So do you know about the proxy design pattern, how we will implement the proxy design pattern in a Spring Boot? Can you tell me the which scenario you use proxy in the implementation in a Spring, like that? And the next question is, bean A should be created before bean B. So how to do? Suppose we have a bean A and bean B is there. So bean A should be created before bean B. So how you will do? What are the way you will follow? And then how you will do circular dependency. What is circular dependency? When to use circular dependency and all. And the next question is different type of auto wire. So different type of auto wire, how you will do by name, by type, and constructors and all. So this type they are asking. And if you used any Spring Batch or uh, related, so they will ask like a cron job. So what is cron job? How you will write a cron expressions? So these all are the questions. 21 questions we I collected with the help of a Spring Boot, microservice, a Spring Cloud Component, a Spring Transaction, Spring Security, REST, Spring REST, and then Spring Batch with the help of Cloud. So these all are so common interview questions which will be asked for the every interviewer if you will going for this Spring Boot related interview questions or microservices related. So this is the common things which will be asked.